How many goddamn hats I had.
How many hats? Do 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 do. How many hats does every cat?
Yeah, a few nights ago you came by, gonna borrow a movie. I didn't have them. I find the movie.
Are you gonna tell the whole story, all the embarrassing details?
No, will you just let me go? Okay, come on.
God damn it.
Jesus.
Professional. You're dealing with professionals here.
I see.
I don't know that I am.
So the movie that you were gonna borrow, I couldn't find, even though I was pretty sure that I had it, which was Apocalypto. But instead, I pulled out by surprise because I knew it was an old favorite of yours that you hadn't seen in years. RAD.
His name is Crew.
Hey, good looking.
BMX is his world. RAD is his way of life.
So Brian, explain RAD.
It's a terrible mid-'80s cliched BMX movie.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain it to people that have never seen it.
That does kind of explain it, yeah. It's basically like what, Gleaming the Cube
It's
and all that.
thrashing with bikes and.
But yeah, no, RAD was like just like super cheesy '80s movie where like what Crew? Was it Crew Jones?
Crew Jones.
Crew
played
Jones
by Bill Allen.
And there was a big tournament that was coming into town.
Of course.
And he somehow got roped into competing in it, but why? How did
the owner of Mongoose Bicycles
He's
had worked, had gotten in business with, I guess, some businessman from this small town in Alberta to build a huge BMX track and hold like the Super Bowl of BMX races. They were having a town meeting sort of about some of the plans, what they were going to do, and the owner of Mongoose Bikes was there kind of trying to give a sales pitch for it. Some of the townsfolk were a little concerned about having all these pros in town. I can't believe I'm telling a stupid movie plot. And so in order to butter up the town, he said that they'll hold a qualifying race and anybody that qualifies could get in to sort of...
that's right.
Make it appear like, yeah, some local kid he'll get in the race.
And they didn't, and that's why they tried to stop Crew, because they didn't want the local kid.
All the BMX riders except the main characters were all real legit BMX riders.
But it sounds like they were
their actual company.
But it sounds like they were making Mongoose look bad.
Because the #1 rider who rode for Mongoose in that movie, who was an Olympian named Bart Connor, and his character's name was Bart Taylor.
Yeah,
but all the BMX riders in that movie played themselves.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. RAD was like classic as like when I was younger. I think even at the time you knew that it was a cheesy movie. Here's one of the cheesy bits where like they go to the prom, and at the prom, in like the prom at the dance and all that, he busts out his bike, and him and the chick, right? They do essentially like a dance on the bikes, doing tricks and shit while they're playing this like slow, dramatic
real life. Send Me an Angel.
You know, yeah.
Send me an angel.
But I think most kids love that movie. I can only speak for myself. I loved that movie as a kid. I think I was 8 years old when it came out. Because the opening credits and the end credits are killer freestyle and like ramp, like BMXing with professionals, and it's edited fairly well, and it was kind of cool. It was like, I was always into skateboarding, and it was almost like the bike equivalent of watching a skate video. There was music, it was edited nicely, and it was just killer riding. I really didn't give a damn about the movie so much as a kid, but I loved the opening credits and the end credits and the final race at the end. I mean, granted it was a cheesy race, but it was also
But that's the whole reason why all those extreme sports movies ever existed, was like they just built a story around an excuse to show you some
of course,
people doing the tricks and stuff like that.
The forces of Grayskull, all the powers of the universe will be vested in me.
The people of Eternia shall see you kneeling just before you die.
I'll never kneel to you.
You will no longer stand between me and my destiny.
Ryan.
What?
And now, back to our show.
So, I remember when I was growing up and I first started reading comic books, one of my favorite comic books was Marvel's G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe!
G.I. Joe! written by Larry Hama. Like all the mythology that you end up knowing about G.I. Joe, he created. Like the backgrounds of the characters and their personalities and all that stuff. The Marvel Comics worked actually hand in hand with, I guess it was Hasbro. But Hasbro was like,
You guys figure out what these people are.
of course, I'm not showing you the actual comics. These are reprint collections that came out some years ago. In adulthood, I was like, you know what? I remember G.I. Joe being so great. I gotta go spend $25 a pop. And I have the first 5, but I think they go way higher than this.
I'm assuming
I think
it must be tons, right?
they put it on the glossy paper. The art and the coloring wasn't made to be on this kind of paper.
Right.
It was made for newsprint. The color was designed for newsprint.
Right.
The art was designed for newsprint, so it doesn't look right on this.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I really would rather them use standard paper stock. Even if, you can use a thicker, heavier paper, but don't use this glossy stuff because the colors aren't right. It looks gaudy and like ugly and nasty.
It does.
And when it should have,
It looks cheaper.
it does. I think it looks terrible. But these early Joe comics were really kind of awesome. Actually, this whole Marvel G.I. Joe series, so there's Volume 1, which covers 1 through 10, and this is 11 through 20, and et cetera, et cetera. You can figure it out. I think the ones that I have run up to issue 50, which is when Serpentor came around. So Serpentor, you know what his deal is?
Serpentor. Serpentor. And he's dressed like a serpent.
So Cobra took the DNA of like Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar and all these world conquerors and blended them together because that's how DNA works. Obviously,
He found the DNA from them somehow.
and they made him.
Fearing Cobra Commander no longer has the ability to lead, Destro and Dr. Mindbender comb the tombs of the most evil leaders in history, and from their genetic tissues produce a composite clone with the military genius of Napoleon, the ruthlessness of Julius Caesar, the daring of Hannibal, and the cunning of Attila the Hun. Behold the ultimate Cobra Emperor, Serpentor.
Serpentor.
Do you remember Serpentor?
I did not.
You were in a G.I. Joe.
No, the only things I remember from G.I. Joe are Cobra Commander and Destro.
Yeah, Destro with the metal head.
Yeah.
Cobra Commander with the hood.
Right.
Destro, the Baroness, Major Blood. The other thing that was great, awesome about these early G.I. Joe comics was that, like, I think people died. In the comics, there was, like, drama, which was exciting. And...
Uh-oh, he's going. He's looking for more.
The pumpkins started rolling and the people started screaming. Your head starts throbbing and you're swallowing a ceiling. Out pops are rolling and the brains are on the ceiling. B-L-O-O-D and the San-T-O-U-R-D. It's a pumpkin party. Gourd father's coming and I see them multiplying. Everywhere you look, there's a dozen people dying. I can't hear nothing but the bleeding and the crying. It's hard to run the blood when the body parts are flying. B-L-O-O-D and the San-T-O-U-R-D. It's a pumpkin party. Hey, bloody Gourd. Bring it back that horrible. Hey, bloody Gourd. Well, I'm creepy and you love you so. Townsend late to west, the pumpkins put you in your place. Tell me how it tastes when we're sitting on your face. Hey!
Oh, he's back.
G.I. Joe Special Missions.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like a secondary series that was supposed to be a little more adult and serious, and each issue was like a specific story about a special mission that they went on. And they were really good. They were good stories and good art, and look.
Oh, I like that. I was gonna say, who is that?
Larry Hama.
Oh, that's the guy who wrote all
That guy who wrote everything.
Wow, and he signed that one for you.
He signed my special
Where did you see him that he got, where he signed that?
I saw him at a Comic-Con in New York. He was sat next to Playboy model Tiffany Taylor. That's actually a true story. Or across from, I think he was across from her or something like that. So, here's the thing. Anyone who read those early, like in those first 50 issues, those G.I. Joe comics from Marvel, anyone who was actually reading them will attest to the fact that they were legitimately quality comics. Good stuff. I mean, I'm not talking like groundbreaking, legendary stuff,
but they were
for the ages and all that. But
better than the Heathcliff one. Like things, I don't want to say Heathcliff. That's different.
What are you even saying?
So aggressive. I'm still open to negotiation.
There can be no negotiation, you insolent microbe!
I've gotten as far as I have in life by keeping my friends close, my enemies closer, and my mother in my crawl space.
Look, the storm knocked down that big wire.
Hey, let's jump our bikes over it.
No, you better leave that power line right where it is. There's enough electricity there to fry an elephant.
Now we know.
G.I. Joe!
We now conclude our scheduled broadcasts for today. Good night.